Okay, children, very good morning. We are just I hope you should see the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we were discussing the source of agricultural finance. Quick discussion, quick revision. What are the two sources of agricultural finance? You should remember. Then only I will forward the slide. What are the two sources? Yes, you are very lucky. Slide itself got postponed or it itself got processed, forwarded. Children, tell me, what are the two sources of agricultural finance? You will have to give the answer. You cannot keep quiet. It is not a one-way.
Non-institutional source and institutional source.
Correct. Non-institutional and institutional source. You are right. And we were explaining regarding non-institutional source. In non-institutional source, the important is the role played by the money lender. That part is already over in your class. Okay, money lender was providing around 70% of the non-institutional credit. And we were explaining why Indian farmers were flocking towards the money lenders. The reasons are very clear because they were quite friendly, 24/7. No complicated formalities, easy procedures, quick access, and they were providing loans for consumption, for marriages, social occasion, anything and everything loan was given. But it has resulted in so many problems to Indian farmers. The problems, first one is exorbitant rate of interest. I told you many times rate of interest was moving between 3 to 4% per annum. That means 36 to 48% per year. 100 rupees if they borrow, almost 50% they will pay as the rate of interest. This was the highest, rate of interest which farmer was paying knowingly or unknowingly. This has resulted in indebtedness. I told you what is the meaning of indebtedness. Indebtedness means the whole life of the farmer is in debt. And when the farmer dies, the debt is carried forward to children. That is the meaning of indebtedness. I am repeating, just a quick revision. When the farmer dies, what is happening? The debt is carried forward. That is the meaning of indebtedness. इसलिए इंडियन फार्मिंग में ऐसा हो जाता है, आई एम सॉरी, जो रिच है वो रिच ही होगा, जो पुअर है वो ऐसा ही पुअर होकर ही they will be dying. The reason is very clear. Indian farmer, one second, वो slide में कुछ आ गया, I am just rubbing it off. Okay. So indebtedness का meaning क्या है बच्चे लोग? What do you mean by indebtedness?
Credit passed from generation to generations.
Super. Credit passed from generation to generation and they are not in a position to come out of the debt. Then whatever small land they are having, that land and property will also be taken by the money lender, landlords. Okay, so they are always, the small and marginal farmers are always the victims of this type of problems. Malpractices are very common, you know that, because farmers are in need of money. They never bother about the conditions in which the loans are given. Most of the time signatures are taken on the blank paper. बाद में money lender or the landlord himself is adding the conditions. So he is misusing them. As a result, even after paying the debt, farmer is always living in the debt because he has signed on all the wrong papers or he has signed in the blank papers. Exploitation was very common because the traders, who has given money to the farmer will compel the farmer to produce it. They are producing, farmers are producing already lower quantity. That quantity will be taken away by the landlord. That quantity will be taken away by the trader. Okay. As a result, this will create a lot of issues because they were exploited. Farmers were not having any choice. वो लोगों के पास choice बिल्कुल नहीं था. Okay. Now we are starting with institutional finance. Institutional source of finance is that source of finance which is controlled by government or RBI. This is properly controlled. Here, generally RBI comes in the picture. Of course, RBI is work under the government, so government is also equally in the picture. In 2015, according to the RBI report, share of institutional credit is 72%. It's a very good progress because आपने इधर देखो, money lenders were providing almost 70% of non-institutional credit. When it has come to 2015, institutional credit is 72. That means non-institutional credit is 28%. That means the dependence on the non-institutional credit has come down. The dependence on the non-institutional credit has come down, and dependence on the institutional credit has gone up. Dependent on the non-institutional credit has gone up. It is an excellent sign because institutional credit is having their guidelines. They are, well streamlined. So it's a very good improvement. Farmer is no longer in the clutches of money lender. There is considerable improvement in the growth of institutional finance. अभी हमारा doubt है कि institutional credit में कौन-कौन आएगा? Who are all giving money to the farmer? Commercial banks, cooperative banks, RRBs, regional rural banks. Then institutional credit, we will study this separately. That is about NABARD. There is a separate question about NABARD. Because agricultural finance, the apex body is NABARD. Children, as far as agricultural finance is concerned, apex on top. सबसे powerful body है NABARD. And you know that NABARD का head office is in Bombay. Bandra Kurla complex में you can see huge 2 buildings of NABARD. We will discuss about NABARD little later. Because now Reserve Bank or government is not directly interfering. Agricultural finance is basically given to NABARD now. So when we start with NABARD, you can say that NABARD first, there is a head of the entire agricultural finance. Then there is commercial banks, cooperative banks, and regional rural banks. Okay. Regional rural banks. Now we are starting with commercial banks. You have to write quite systematically the role of commercial banks in helping agriculture. Okay. In the beginning, you are very well aware, commercial bank played less significant role. We are talking about the period before 1969. 1969 के पहले कमर्शियल बैंक फार्मर को मदद करने के लिए तैयार ही नहीं था. As a young children, you should know the history of the entire financial sector of the country, because you are now seeing totally different picture. That's what I told you. You should know the story of India's agricultural finance, or rather you can say about the financial history of India. So 1969 के पहले problem क्या था? A commercial bank played very, very less role as far as agricultural finance is concerned. What are the reasons that we will discuss? Okay. And 1969, once I told you when we were explaining about, don't worry, my hand only touched something. Yes, in 1969, the whole history has been changed because, one minute. I'm starting it again because, 1 minute. I hope you can see the screen now. 1969 is a historical year as far as commercial bank is concerned. What is the reason? 1969, Indira Gandhi nationalized the commercial bank. Children, if you are sitting with the notebook, please take down these points. 1969, Indian commercial banks got nationalized. What do you mean by nationalization? Banks came under the direct control of government. That is the meaning of nationalization. 14 commercial bank came directly under the ownership of government. When it happened, children, in 1969. Okay, 1980 mein 6 more banks got nationalized. So altogether there were 20 government banks in India. This history is little relevant in the modern time. There were, including 1980, children mute yourself, there were 20 nationalized banks in India. Why did Indira Gandhi nationalize the bank? First you understand, children, nationalization. Nationalization ka meaning kya hai? Private banks become government bank. Simple meaning. 100% ownership by the government. So why did Indira Gandhi did that? Abhi bhi aap Google में जाकर 1969 जुलाई डालकर बैंक नेशनलाइजेशन देखो, उसी दिन का पेपर 14th में, if I am right, 14th July, पूरा न्यूज़पेपर का हेडिंग is dealing with this only. Banks got nationalized, and very boldly it was done by Indira Gandhi. She was the prime minister at that time. हमारा question is not the political question. हमारा question is the economic question. Why did the bank got nationalized? Because unwillingness of the commercial bank to provide finance to agriculture. There was a period when commercial banks were not ready to provide finance to farmers. What was the reason? They were under the impression that Indian farmer cannot repay, because farmers were depending too much on monsoon. बारिश अच्छा होने पर they can repay. बारिश अच्छा नहीं है, they cannot repay. So banks were not ready to take the risk. So many times Mrs. Indira Gandhi, through the Reserve Bank, compelled the commercial bank to provide finance to agriculture. लेकिन बैंक पूरा प्राइवेट थे, इसलिए कोई भी बैंक गवर्नमेंट को सुनने के लिए वो पीरियड में भी तैयार नहीं था. इसलिए क्या किया, अचानक in the month of July 1969, Indira Gandhi nationalized the banks. Children, nationalization में क्या होगा? Private bank will become government bank. That is the only logic. And उसके बाद अभी we are giving 2018-19 का story. Commercial bank lending to agriculture is, ये देखिए आप, today 3/4, 75.2% of the total credit is going to agriculture. अब कितना changes है देखो. लेकिन now India is having the credit of having largest rural branches of commercial banks in the world. We are in the Guinness Book of Record. For what purpose? We are having largest rural branches. Because 1969 में जब ये बैंक नेशनलाइज हो गया, इंदिरा गांधी ने इतना अच्छा प्लान किया, बोला कि आपको सिटी में एक ब्रांच ओपन करने का तो 5 बैंक आपको रूरल एरिया में ओपन करना ही पड़ेगा. इसलिए बैंक के सामने दूसरा रास्ता ही नहीं था. अदरवाइज ये लोग रूरल एरिया में जाने के लिए तैयार नहीं था. Now they were forced to go to rural area, and lot of rural branches were opened. एक बार commercial bank opened the branches, then at least farmer got the confidence of going to the bank and opening the account. Otherwise rural area में आपको मालूम है लंबा distance में एक बैंक है, लोग जाने के लिए तैयार नहीं था. We are talking about the farmer. But a situation change हो गया because of Indira Gandhi. You being the young students, you should know about the past history of India. Here we are slightly diverting. So I'm just taking a quick recap. 1969 children, what has happened? Let me call somebody. No idea इधर है या नहीं या सोता है करके. Anam Siddiqui, are you here? I told you to put the roll number, children. Sometimes this will be the name of your parent. It looks very awkward. Right click करके add your roll number. Anam Siddiqui, are you there? Very good. 97. Tell me. 1969 में what has happened? Siddiqui, jaldi. Roll number 97. You have to unmute. You know that now the parents meet are kept to talk to the parents regarding this only. We do not know ऐसा ही मोबाइल ओपन करके क्या करता है करके देखना पड़ेगा. 97. Tell me. 1969 में what has happened to Indian Commercial Bank? जल्दी आंसर दो. Unmute yourself, my dear girl. I hope. 97. Are you there or not? Yes.
Ma'am, she has replied in chat box.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Okay, you people are having the problem of signal also. That is correct, children. Very good. Yes, that is excellent. I have seen answer and thank you. Banks were nationalized, right? So that nationalization was only to help the agriculture. Because of the nationalization, commercial banks were forced to open branches in the rural area. Okay, and agricultural finance become the like highest priority. But at present, what is happening, children? This was the period of 1969 and 80 when the banks got nationalized. But back to 2021, now what is the scenario? Now again the banks are becoming privatized. 1969 में banks were privatized. इसलिए Indira Gandhi has nationalized the banks. Now we are going back to the old stage. Government is trying to privatize the banks. You are very well aware. So many banks are getting merged and many banks are going to become privatized. We are not asking the reason or explaining the reason why it is so. My point of explanation is very simple. You might have studied, the life cycle theory. So everything is subjected to some change. So after a particular point going up, it will come down and it is coming back to the same position. So 1969 mein banks were, before 1969 banks were privatized. They were private banks. 69 they got nationalized. Okay, and by, you can say by 2000, 15 ke baad, banks again becoming privatized. Because the change is a changeless law. Change will go on, happen. Please understand that. Now, how does commercial bank help the agricultural sector? I told you they were not ready to help the agricultural sector. The reason is farmers were not having security to give for the loans. Second is repayment of the farmer. Repayment of the loan by the farmer was highly doubtful. Farmer himself was not sure that he will repay the loan. I told you this was the period before 1969. 1969 ke baad commercial bank ne what all type of loans they were giving. Short-term loans, medium-term and long-term loans, direct finance, indirect finance. So commercial banks started providing various types of loans to the farmers. One example is short-term loans. What is short-term loans? That is for a shorter period. Farmer को fertilizer खरीदने के लिए, pesticides खरीदने के लिए, okay, छोटा period के लिए. Small period means 1 year or 1.5 years, 18 months. More than 50% of the commercial bank's loan in agricultural finance is in this category. So commercial banks are also afraid. So they want their safety. So अपना safety के लिए ये लोग ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा short term loan ही farmer को देगा. So that at least जल्दी पैसा तो मिल जाएगा. But remember, now the story is different because there is a crop insurance. आपको मालूम है व्हाट इज क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस? मालूम नहीं होने पर अभी सुनने का. When the farmer is starting his cultivation, वही पीरियड से पूरा क्रॉप्स इंश्योरेंस के नीचे आता है. ओके, कंपल्सरी है, क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस लेना ही पड़ेगा. उसका प्रीमियम ज्यादा नहीं है, वेरी लेस अमाउंट है. सो एक बार क्रॉप इंश्योरेंस ले लिया चिल्ड्रन, व्हाट इज द एडवांटेज? क्रॉप को कुछ डैमेज हो जाता है, लेट इट बी रेन, लेट इट बी ड्रॉट, दोनों के वजह से क्रॉप को कुछ डैमेज हो जाने पर इंश्योरेंस तो मिल जाएगा. ओके, so that farmer will be able to repay. I told you today's situation is so different that we will see in the latest changes. Then medium term and long term finance. Commercial banks provide medium term finance but do not encourage long term finance. Agriculture में commercial banks are not at all willing to provide long term finance. I told you it is the fear. Will the farmer repay the loan? Otherwise manager will be in trouble. So naturally they are very much afraid. Money borrowed for this category, that is short term category, is used to purchase cattle, implements and improvement of land. So under the medium term category, why do the farmer take the loan? 3 points you'll have to remember. Farmer is taking the loan to purchase the cattle, buffalo, cow. Okay, वही cattle चाहिए ना agriculture में. दूसरा उधर क्या चाहिए? So they will be using this money to buy bullock, okay, or they may be buying even the buffaloes, so that they will get an additional income by selling the milk also. Then equipments. Farmer, Indian farmer का life में एक ही equipment है, that is a tractor, but that is an expensive one. ये सब खरीदने के लिए farmer will give the government or commercial banks will give the loan. Because of liberalization, some of the medium term loans are extended to long term. अभी आपको मालूम है liberalization में सब कुछ change हो जाता है, इसलिए medium term loan का year भी बढ़ा कर देता है. It is becoming long term. 50% of commercial bank loans or lending comes under this. So 50% of the loans are under medium term and long term. I told you banks are not that much afraid because now there is the crop insurance. That is the main reason. So quickly children, we have discussed 2 main points: short-term finance, medium and long-term finance. If there is any doubt you ask or put it in the chat box, it is clear. Let me see in the chat box. That is your favorite area. Is it clear children? Please write there. There are so many students in the class. Go on, write. फटाफट लिखो. एक मैसेज टाइप करने के लिए कितना टाइम लेता है? हाँ, अभी भी ऐसा ऐसा लिखो. Good. Now I can. Thank you, children. Thanks. So we are going further. There is a section or there is a category of finance which is known as direct finance. So farmer के लिए सीधा पैसा देते हैं. किसके लिए? In order to purchase the pumping set. ये सब थोड़ा बड़ा expenses है. Tractor and other agricultural machinery, construction of well, purchase of plowing animals. Wow, which are the plowing animals? Bullock. जो plow करने के लिए मदद करता है, that is a plowing animal. So direct finance farmer को किसके लिए देता है? To purchase the pump set. आपको मालूम है pump set, पानी use करते हैं pump sets, tractors and other agricultural equipments. और well आपको मालूम है पानी मिलने के लिए well बनाना पड़ेगा. ये सब एक्सपेंसिव है. गांव में एक well बनाने के लिए मिनिमम तो 50,000 रुपया मिनिमम चाहिए, उसके ऊपर ही जाएगा. Then plowing animal खरीदने का, even for the development of land, development of land, all this farmer has been given direct finance. Then there is indirect finance. Indirect finance means सीधा बैंक farmer को नहीं देगा, लेकिन they are providing to cooperative societies. आपको मालूम है कमर्शियल बैंक के नीचे कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज, कोऑपरेटिव बैंक्स भी आता है। ओके, सो कमर्शियल बैंक कोऑपरेटिव बैंक को पैसा देगा, कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटी एंड बैंक आर सेम ओनली। कमर्शियल बैंक कोऑपरेटिव बैंक को पैसा देगा, कोऑपरेटिव बैंक फार्मर को पैसा देगा। ओके, so that way they are indirectly helping the farmer, indirectly helping the farmer commercial banks. So children, we explained there is direct finance as well as there is the indirect finance. Okay. So I hope as far as the role of agricultural banks are concerned, it is clear to you. Short term, medium term and long term, direct and indirect. Now we are discussing cooperative credit institution. That is easy, only you have to little apply your brain, that's all. Cooperative banks, they are basically divided into two. How they are divided? One is a rural cooperative credit institution. Second is the urban cooperative banks. Urban area में भी है, rural area में भी है. We are more into rural area because it is dealing with agricultural finance. Rural cooperative credit is divided into two. One is a short-term structure, other is the long-term structure. That is short-term cooperative banks and there is a long-term. Short-term cooperative bank mein, there is the, we will start from here. Bottom mein, primary agricultural credit society. This is generally at the village. Village में primary agricultural credit society है, district में district central cooperative bank है, third there is a state cooperative bank. There are three types of cooperative bank. Children, अभी last 15 दिन पहले Prime Minister मोदी ने अपना portfolio, minister का portfolio बदली कर दिया, उधर एक नया portfolio add किया है, that is the Ministry for Cooperation. कोऑपरेटिव बैंक को कंट्रोल करने के लिए एक नया मिनिस्ट्री बनाया, उसका इंचार्ज है अमित शाह. Why did I say that? Because cooperative banks comes under him now directly. So there are rural cooperative credit society and urban cooperative credit society. Urban at present we are not bothered because we are more into agricultural finance. So rural credit cooperative society provides short-term and medium, short-term and long-term. Short-term is divided into three, starting from village, primary agricultural society, district society, then third is the state cooperative bank. Long-term is divided into two, state cooperative, same thing, and primary cooperative. Primary cooperative, uske upar hai state cooperative. This is what we are explaining today. Now I will take your